Opportunities, grow the digital technologies and these are ideas to bounce off people and where we're looking to go further with our research, linked to the assets that drew these computing and data centers. Renewable energy, not just in the productive capacity, but R&D and smart grid. There's some different areas there. I think when we come back to you next, we're going to talk more about what we see as opportunities there. Advanced manufacturing and distribution. I really see maintaining some ties to manufacturing in the district with the assets that matter to some of these companies, like low-cost energy and like rail-served sites. Creative economy, arts, graphics, green design, construction ties in with some of the smaller scale businesses that I know are starting to pop up in downtown Holyoke, ties in with the notion of an arts overlay as part of downtown Holyoke. Opportunity to better link the supply chain of talent to the industries that are being targeted, and we talked about this morning. It was an oversight on my part, which is an opportunity to expand and improve the entrepreneurial support system. I think that needs to be added or articulated in that box. We got it as a strength, but we did not articulate it as an opportunity. Finally, some threats, some uncertainty in terms of what actual industries would be attracted due to the computing center. It's not a simple point A to point B. If it was, maybe we'd have a totally different type of session today. It's what we're doing is not easy. Some other challenges to development we've talked about. And manufacturing, while I think there are opportunities there, there are cautionary tales such as the Evergreen Solar Project, and not everything needs to go to China, as we know, but it is a threat. So that wraps up the presentation.
Talk
there.
about hitting it on the nose.
So sorry that I went.
Well, you needed to lay it out. Now, here's what I've heard, and here's what I would recommend. First of all, I've taken notes, and Dan has as well, from freight yards to Bradley to walkability and bike trails. I'll say, got it. As we adjourn, I'll put Dan Hodge on the spot and go, for your notepads and additional ideas, we're still here as we stand down. I want to take care of our task force here and see if there's been glaring omissions that you need to take care of now versus offline through an email or viewing the portal. I want to make sure you've got a chance to comment again, and then we'll talk about what comes next. Kip, you all right?
Well, I just think there needs to be some focus on the reality that the types of jobs that need to be created in the short term are jobs that are going to employ the people that are here now. There's immense poverty as a result of unemployment, and we need to focus on solving that problem as quickly as we can as we look to grow and go into these other areas. I mean, and the people that are here in poverty, they're typically low education, low skills. So we need to figure out how do we create thousands of those jobs as quickly as we can.
And Kip, I'll follow up with you on that topic. I'd like to.
And piggyback on what Kip's just mentioned, I don't know how many of us are aware that we are facing with one of the only vocational high schools here in the city of Holyoke, who is at the level of a restart, which means that we would have an outside management coming in to take over a level 4 school, which it's an opportunity for us to grasp from this movement to more closely work with the school system to determine what are the vocationals needed for the next century and generation, because if we're going to create jobs, we have to be tied to this opportunity. So.
All right, Jim? Everybody all right? All right, let me say to the chairs, if I could have 4 minutes to talk about what happens next. Could I burden you with that, folks? 4 minutes? Yeah. Yes, Don? Good, great. Okay, very quickly. Next steps. Dan, just quick, just
Right, so we're going to revise this and improve it based on the feedback. We have a complete report document, draft report document that will accompany this. And then we're going to quickly transition, and that's what the opportunities were meant to do, towards the strategic plan work in industry clusters, the ecosystem, and energy, doing research and due diligence in those areas. We're going to do further connection with real industry, site selectors, and universities to go deeper into those topics. And quickly on stakeholder outreach, a couple of things. One, and this is the last one, the Urban Renewal Plan meetings are starting up next week, February 16th, 17th, and then March 2nd and 3rd. Our team will be participating in those. We've fed some questions for that process. We also, in March, plan to do some community stakeholder focus groups to get more community input, especially as we work towards not just the baseline assessment of strengths and weaknesses, but working towards the strategy.
Okay. Click it for me.
Yeah, why don't we...
That speaks for itself? Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the session notes.
Hold on a second.
Yep.
How much, I suspect there are folks that want to give you more feedback than is possible today about the SWOT analysis. Who does that go to, and how much time do folks have to feed that back to you?
I think that should go to me.
Okay.
And at least, and we can, I know my information is out there with the task force, and we can make that available as, and I guess other comments will come in through the website. I would say, you know, what, like a week and a half, maybe?
Is that about the right time for you, Mr. Chair, for the task force, week and a half?
Yep.
All right. Thank you, sir.
And when we get the session notes out and all, we'll have that kind of reminder. But let's plan on that.
I'm going to add to the session notes the key site selection factors. So this is the get real, and I'm going to ask all of you to, instead of doing this today, take a close look at these. This is what it is, and this is the world we're going to have to work in as we go forward. Next, please. The quality of life factors as well, which is what I know a lot of the teammates out here in the family we're talking about. They are what they are. And there are a lot of the areas where you are seeing strengths. So take a close look at those when I post them. It's not a matter do you have them. It's a matter of how do you communicate them on your terms. And that takes a little extra work than just saying, hey, the tax rates are high, but if you look at the whole picture, the cost of living is low. So help us work through that. Next, Dan. Also, I'll put a section in where leaders are going to can and should step up on these factors. So look at that, and we'll start with that next time we're together. Next, please. And then to wrap up, to whet your appetite, as we go from SWOT and consensus and get serious about everything from supply chain management and entrepreneurs to having sites ready to go to showing that we have happy customers. And at the end of the day, it's going to be about customer service. The closer is customer service. Can they trust us? Do we do what we promise? Do we do it on time? Is the SWOT analysis accurate? Are we improving the transportation and the bus routes on demand as we need to do? If we could show those things, we thought from neighborhood to bike path to Catalyst Project, we're going to look at East Baltimore by Johns Hopkins, Brantford, Ontario, the London Docklands on Dog Island, the Innovista in Columbia, South Carolina, and some of the districts in Pennsylvania. And this is so you'll have a chance to dive in and see there are other members of our family who've dealt with very similar issues, sometimes quite similar, and sometimes have things in common with us, especially in terms of getting the neighborhoods involved in what's going on. So I wanted you to know we're going to drill down on these. And you know, just like you, they like bragging about what they've done. And this is going to be some peer groups that we can work with going forward. So I wanted Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, to see these are some of the areas we want to look at as we go forward from talent to neighborhood. Okay? Dan? All right. Thanks for the extra time. Thank you, folks.
Okay. Jeff, did you want to quickly do any updates at all from the standpoint of the consortium?
Thanks, Tim. Just very quickly, we're working through our construction planning process. I'm getting close to a more detailed design for the facility. We've also had a number of very productive meetings with the city of Holyoke and HG&E, Kathy and her team, Jim and his team over the past few weeks, working on planning issues related to the energy supply and also on approvals for regulatory issues. So things are on track and moving forward.
What size is that building going to be, you know?
We haven't yet got to a final number, John. If I remember correctly, we're looking in the ballpark of 75,000 square feet. But some of it depends if we can be more efficient in our use of space, then we can make the building a little smaller, and that cuts the construction costs. There's a number of trade-offs that we're working with on that.
Okay, any other questions for Jeff? Any other announcements that you have, Kathy?
No, I just want to thank the consultants, including Gary. This is great stuff for all of us, not only for Holyoke, but for the region, so thank you.
Any other business? Going once, going twice? April 6th here, 1:30 again, and to 4.